Hello friends, in the previous video we have seen that how many circles are passing through given a 1 point, 2 points and 3 points, and we concluded that we can draw infinite circles passing through the single point, infinite circles passing through the 2 points and one and only one circle passing through 3 non-collinear points. There is no any circle passing through the 3 collinear points. Okay. After that we have seen that what is in by tangent and a secant. Tangent, a line touching to the circle in one and only one point is called a tangent. And a line intersecting the circle in a 2 points, or we can say more than 1 points, then such a line is called secant. Okay. Now we are going to study some properties related to the secant. Okay. Now here you can see that in the first figure there is a circle with a center O, and there is another point interior to the circle. The point is T. Then in the second figure, point T is lying on the circle, that is on the circumference, and in the third figure the point is lying to the exterior to the circle. Okay. Then now let's see here, when the point is interior to the circle, how many tangents we can draw? So easily we can say that we cannot draw any tangent when the point is interior to the circle. When the point is on the circle, then we can draw only one tangent. While when the point is exterior to the circle, now here there is a circle with a center Q, point T is exterior to the circle. So here we can get two tangents. Okay, and here each this tangent is called a tangent segment. So dear friends, our next concept is related with the tangent segments and properties related to that. So friends, we have seen that how many tangents we can draw from a point on the circle and from a point exterior to the circle. And when the point is exterior to the circle, we can draw two tangents, and these two tangents are called the tangent segments. Now we are going to study the property related to these tangent segments. Okay. So here our theorem is tangent segment theorem. So the theorem states that tangent segments drawn from an external point to a circle are congruent. Now here circle with the center O has this point P exterior to the circle, and from this point P, here two tangent segments are there, that is segment PA and segment PB. So here according to this theorem we have to prove that this is PA congruent to PB. Okay. So for this we can do the construction here, draw OA and OB at the same time, this draw segment OB. So in this way we will get the two triangles, triangle OAP and triangle OBP. Now we will try to prove that these two triangles are congruent. Okay, so let's prove this. So here first we can say that segment OA congruent segment OB, because these are the radii of the same circle. Then segment OP congruent segment OP. Okay, or we can say in other words hypotenuse OP congruent hypotenuse OP. Okay. Then angle OAP congruent angle OBP. These both angles are of 90 degree by the tangent theorem. Okay. So in this way we can prove that this is a triangle AOP congruent to triangle BOP by right angle hypotenuse side test. Okay. Then therefore segment PA congruent segment PB. PA congruent PB, that is corresponding sides of congruent triangle. So friends, in this way we had proved that tangent segments drawn from an external point to the circle are congruent. Friends, our next concept is touching circle. What is meant by touching circle? When the two circles are touching each other in only one point, then such a circles are called touching circle. Now here in the figure you can see that the circle with the center P and the circle with the center Q. These circles are touching to each other in one and only one point, that is point T. So these are the touching circle. Similarly here the circle with the center A and circle with the center B touching to each other in only one point, that is point C. So these are also touching circle. When the circles are touching externally, then these are called externally touching circle. And here the one circle is the interior to the other circle. So such a type of circles are called internally touching circle. Now here if we will draw a line passing through this common point, that is T. So here line L is passing through point T. Point T is common to both the circle. Okay. So this line L is called tangent to this circle. Okay. And this line L is the common tangent for both this circle. Similarly, here line M is passing through the point C. So we can call this line M as the common tangent of this both circles. In a case of externally touching circle, this line L, which is the common tangent for both this circle. So here this both the circle with the center P and circle with the center Q are to the opposite side of this tangent. While in a case of internally touching circle, line M, which is the common tangent, so this is both circles are to the one side of a tangent. Now here, if we draw a segment joining to this center of the circle, we will find that this point T, which is the point of contact, it is on the same line. Let's see that. Now here, if we draw the line, so here the segment joining the center of the circle, on this segment this point of contact, this common point is on the same segment. Similarly here also center of the circle and this common point are on the same line. This is our next theorem, that is theorem of touching circle. Theorem of touching circles. If two circles touch each other, their point of contact lies on the line joining their centers. So here this theorem will help us to find out the distance between the centers of the circle. If the circles are externally touching circle, then to get the distance between the center, we have to add the radii of both the circle. Let's consider the radius of the circle as R1 and this is as R2. So distance between these two centers P and Q is nothing but R1 plus R2. And in a case of internally touching circle, if the radius of the bigger circle is here, let's denote it by the capital R1, and the radius of the smaller circle, that is R2. So distance between the center of these two circles is nothing but R1 minus R2. It means to get the distance between the centers of internally touching circle, we have to subtract this radii of both the circles. Friends, we have seen in the theorem of touching circle that the center of the touching circles and the point of contact are collinear. Let's use this theorem to solve the example. So we have the question: two circles of radii 5.5 cm and 4.2 cm touch each other externally. Find the distance between their centers. Okay. So let's consider the radii of these two circles as R1 and R2. Therefore, R1 is equal to 5.5 centimeter and R2 is equal to 4.2 centimeter. Now, the given circles are externally touching circles, and therefore, by the theorem of touching circle, the center and the point of contact are collinear. Okay? So, as the circles are externally touching circle, therefore, the distance between their center is nothing but the sum of their radii. Okay? So, here distance between their center is equal to R1 plus R2 is equal to 5.5 plus 4.2, that is 9.7. Friends, if the same question is there and instead of externally touching, if we are given with the internally touching circle, then we will do same method here, only where we had used the word externally, there we have to change it as a internally touching circle. And here, in the case of internally touching circle, the distance between their center is nothing but the difference between the radii. So, in that case, we can subtract the bigger radius minus smaller radius and we will get the distance between the center of the circles which are internally touching circles. Now, we are going to study arc of a circle. Now, here, in the circle with the center O, there is a secant N touching or intersecting to the circle at point A and B. Points A and B are common to the secant as well as to the circle. Now here, due to this secant, the circle gets divided in two parts, and here each part consisting these common points and a part of the circle is called an arc. Now here, this part of a circle in which center of the circle is there to the one side of a secant, that is called major arc, and the part of a circle to the other side of the secant without center is called minor arc. Here, this major arc and minor arc together forms a whole circle. That's why we can call this major arc and minor arc as a corresponding arc of each other.
Segment AB is a chord of the circle. Each part of the circle, together with the points that are common to the circle and the chord, is called an arc. Here, chord AB divides the circle into two arcs, arc AQB and arc BPA. If the chord passes through the center of the circle, the two arcs formed are semicircles. If the chord does not pass through the center, it divides the circle into two parts, with the center on one side of the chord. The arc of the circle on the same side as the center is called the major arc, while the arc on the non-center side is called the minor arc. Since these two arcs together form the circle, they are called corresponding arcs of each other.
Friends, now we are going to study the central angle. What is meant by central angle? When the vertex of an angle is the center of the circle, then such an angle is called the central angle. Now here, for angle AOB, its vertex is O, and center of the circle is also point O. That's why we can call this angle AOB as a central angle. And there is very interesting fact that the measure of the central angle and its intersected arc, their measures are equal. Now here, central angle AOB intersect arc AXB. So, measure of the central angle AOB is equal to measure of arc AXB.
An arc forms an angle at the center of the circle. This angle is called the central angle. Here, angle AOB is the central angle formed by the arc APB. The measure of an arc is the angular measure of the angle it subtends at the center of the circle. This is represented as shown. When the chord passes through the center, each of the arcs is a semicircle, and the measure of each of the arcs is 180 degrees. Here, the addition of the two arcs will give us the degree measure of the circle. This is represented as shown. But what if we want to find the measure of arc ABP? We can see that arc ABP is made up of two arcs, arc AQB and arc BRP. Here, arc AQB and arc BRP belong to the same circle, and only point B is common to both arcs. So, the measure of arc ABP can be calculated by simply adding the measures of the arcs forming it, as shown.
So friends, we have seen that what is in my central angle and what is the relation between the central angle and its intersected arc. Let's use that to solve the example. So we have the question in a figure, points G, D, E, F are consecutive points of a circle with the center C. Then angle ECF, this angle is given 70 degree and measure of arc DGF is given 200 degree. DGF. This whole arc is given, that is of 200 degree. Then we asked to find out the measure of arc DE. This arc we have to find out, and arc DEF, and this also we asked to find out. Okay, let's solve this. Now here, measure of arc EF is equal to angle ECF, right? Measure of arc EF. So here, arc EF subscribe the angle ECF at the center. So we are knowing that this relation, measure of central angle is equal to its intercepted arc. So whatever is the measure of this angle will be this arc, or whatever will be the measure of this arc will be this angle. So here arc EF is equal to angle ECF. Therefore angle ECF is 70 degree, which is already given. Therefore arc EF, this arc EF, we got it as a 70 degree. And now we have this arc 200 degree. This arc we have 70 degree. Now here we asked to find out the DB, arc DB. Okay. Now this whole circle is the combination of the arc DGF plus EF plus DB. If we add all these three arcs, we will get the measure of whole circle. So here measure of arc DGF, that is this, then arc AF and arc DB. That is nothing but the measure of whole circle 360. Okay. Then put the value. DGF is 200 degree. Then EF 70 degree and D we asked to find out. So it will be as it is equal to 360. 200 plus 70, that is 270 degree plus measure of R, this D is equal to 360. Therefore measure of R D is equal to 360 minus 270, that is 90 degree. So in this way we got the measure of this R as a 90 degree. Now our second question is measure of R DEF. DEF means this. Now here R DEF is nothing but the measure of R DE plus measure of R AF. Okay, so here sum of these two arcs will give us the whole arc, that is DEF. So here measure of R DE plus measure of R AF is equal to measure of R DEF. We can say it as a arc addition postulate. Okay. Now here DE is 90, just we had found out it, and EF is given here, that is 70. 90 plus 70, we will get the measure of R DEF, and that we got as a 160. So in this way measure of R DEF is equal to 160 degree.